Friends sucks. What, you want more than that? Alright, Friends is an old show from the 90s and early 2000s, and it shows. From dated jokes to terrible hair to stupid catchphrases, Friends is a rough watch nowadays. But I have more to say about it, so get ready, suckers. These are the top 11 reasons Friends sucks.
Everything sucks.
Number 11, laugh track. Wait, do I start at number 11 or number 1? Screw it, too late now. Yep, Friends used a laugh track. Or studio audience if you want to get all technical. Probably both actually, but either way it sucks. There are a bunch of people laughing way too hard at the jokes, which means the actors have to do that awkward pause thing after every joke, where they're not quite freeze-framed, but they can't really do anything until their next line.
Hey, I was in the Scouts too.
You were?
Yeah, in fact, my father was a den mother.
It's bad. If I wanted that, I'd go see a damn play. Now, of course, it's not as bad as shows from this decade, which inexplicably continue to use a laugh track, but that doesn't stop the assault on my ears. Number 10, catchphrases. Yep, Friends uses one of the oldest and lamest sitcom tricks in the book in a desperate though successful attempt at popularity. How you doing? Oh my God. Could this be any more of a catchphrase? Funny lines, right? No. I mean, come on. There's a reason why in Extras they gave Andy's sitcom character a catchphrase. Because it's lame. But no, Friends needed to appeal to the dumb masses, so we're subjected to genius lines like, "We were on a break." Number 9. It's like super wide. Look, I'm not one to say that every show needs to be perfectly broken down so that it has one of every type of person, but if you've ever been to New York, you'll know that it is not remotely as white as it looks in the show. Seriously, I looked up all the black characters in Friends. The first one listed was Charlie, which, fair play. She was in a bunch of episodes and was a good role. The next one is some chick who dates Joey and Ross, played by Gabrielle Union, who was in like 10 minutes of one episode. And after that, it's Rhonda from the museum. There are a bunch of other smaller parts with a line or two, but nothing substantial. Well, except for the woman unfortunately named Knockers, who is nothing if not substantial. To be totally fair, the Friends are all white, so it's understandable that their family is a bit monochromatic, but the rest is pretty rough. And arguably the Friends being all white was a mistake in itself. And Marta Kaufman agrees, having just donated $4 million as a kind of penance. Which is good, I guess. But you know what isn't good? Number 8. They're way too good looking. These people are way too attractive. They try to have such relatable storylines, but I'm sorry, these people are too beautiful to struggle. They're all freaking gorgeous, except for Chandler in a few seasons, and even at his cokiest, he was still a good 7.5. Like, if the Friends were true to life, at least 2 of them would look like Ugly Naked Guy. Don't get me wrong, I enjoy looking at Courtney Cox as much as the next guy, but she can't be looking like that while complaining about how she can't find a man. She could throw a rock into a crowd, and whoever it hit would still want to hit that, even though that just hit him with a rock. Did that sentence make sense? Number 7, the theme song. It's... well, no, it's actually pretty awesome. Scratch that. Number 7, the characters become caricatures. Okay, first of all, it's nonsense that caricatures doesn't have an H in it, but I digress. This is a problem that happens in a lot of shows. Each character has an archetype, and as time goes on, they start to lean more and more on their type. But it's pretty rough in Friends and often inconsistent. Monica goes from pretty neat to a neat freak to damn near OCD, except sometimes she's just normal. Joey got so much dumber, I honestly wonder if something happened when his head was in the turkey, except every once in a while, suddenly he's super astute.
It doesn't matter who came on to who.
Whom? That's right.
Ross becomes less and less everyman and more dorky, especially in the middle seasons. Phoebe was pretty weird at the start. If anything, she gets less weird and develops well as a character, so skip her, she's fine. Chandler somehow becomes even more one-dimensional as time goes on. At least early on, we got to see him dating and hanging with Joey, but once he gets with Monica, he's just the guy next to Monica making all the jokes. And Rachel somehow manages to become even more basic, despite becoming more professionally competent. She starts the series wanting independence from a man, then spends the rest of the series revolving her personal and work life around men. be they the Colin Firth-looking co-worker Mark who got her a job and caused the infamous break, the cute client Joshua who she was obsessed with, or the painfully sexy Tag who she hired over an experienced woman because of his looks. Good job, Rach. Number 6. Joey did not drink a gallon of milk in 10 seconds. No, shut up. I know you're thinking, this was just a dumb gag at the end of one episode. Are you really making it one of your points? Yes, I am. Because it was so stupid. First of all, the vast majority of the milk just went down his front and was not drunk. And second, I timed it, and it took 30 damn seconds. If it was 11 or 12, I'd forgive it, but he took 3 times as long as he was supposed to. Only for Phoebe to go, "You did it!" and the studio audience to applaud like the dumb seals they are. So dumb. I'm not sorry. If you think this doesn't count as a point, you can shove a gallon of milk right up your... Number 5. The spin-off. Ugh. There have been some rough spin-offs in TV history, and Cards on the Table, I haven't seen many of them. And to put more cards on the table, I only watched like 6 episodes of Joey. And I was 12. But from what I saw, and from what critics have said, and despite somehow getting 2 seasons, that show was hot trash. Maybe hot trash is too kind. It was boiling diarrhea, burning tires, melting compost. It was just bad, okay? And since there would be no Joey if there was no Friends, Friends sucks. Guilt by association, done. Number 4. They stay the same age. Here's an issue I have, and I get that it's totally a me thing and not necessarily the fault of the creators so much as time itself, but here's the thing. When I first started watching Friends, I was a kid, and they were adults. Then as time went on, they were just a few years older than me, and soon after that, I was actually the same age as them in season 1. But now I'm 30, and the friends are actually younger than me for most of the series. They have a whole episode about how turning 30 is scary, and I'm that age. And that is simply not acceptable. I get enough reminders of the ravages of time when I look at my hairline. I don't need to be watching these damn kids argue about their childish stuff. I'm a man now with a man's responsibilities. Now if you excuse me, I'm off to watch DuckTales. Number 3. Lots of gay jokes. The 90s were a goldmine, or rather, fool's gold mine, for gay jokes. Every show tried to maneuver society's changing views on gay people as they shifted from being an object of scorn to an object of humor, but objects they remained. Oh, I'm so deep. And Friends was no exception. The number of times a joke was just, hey, that's gay, or no, I'm not gay, or hey, Chandler's dad does drag and also is gay, or maybe trans, it's not really clear, is pretty astounding.
More turkey, Mr. Chandler.
Don't get me wrong, this was pretty par for the course in the 90s, but that doesn't make it not suck. It sucks less relative to other 90s shows, but still sucks. And speaking of using people as punching bags, number 2, too many fat jokes. Yep, it's a sitcom, so there were a bunch of fat jokes. And some of them were pretty funny. But after the 5th, Monica was fat joke, it gets a bit tired. Not only that, but they essentially equate fat with ugly. Think about Ugly Naked Guy. They only saw him through the window far away, to the point where they had to fashion a long poking device to make sure he was alive. They hadn't even seen his face. They just saw that he was fat and naked from across the street. If they just called him Fat Naked Guy, that would make sense, but they saw fat and thought ugly, which isn't ideal. Now, some would point out that this isn't the same as the gay thing because fat people can change the fact that they're fat while gay people can't change that they're gay, despite what some nutbars will tell you. And that's true. But it's hard, man. Dieting is hard. Exercise is hard. Especially if you weren't raised doing these things. And constantly being told you're ugly because you're big ain't fun. Again, it's a 90s sitcom, so it's to be expected, and I could totally forgive a fat joke here and there, but like with the gay thing, it happened too often, especially considering the lack of positive representation of fat people. Except maybe Trigger. He was pretty sweet. Number 1. The one where Joey speaks French. Or rather, fails at speaking French so spectacularly that it makes me want to bang my head against the wall. Or should I say, against the mur. Or, as Joey would say it, against le bluff. Because that's the thing, if he just pronounced the words wrong, that'd be fine, but he said completely different words.
Je m'appelle Claude.
Je t'appelle Blue.
Nobody in the history of learning French has been remotely as terrible as that. But hey, it's season 10 and they need more storylines, so why not just take another dozen IQ points from Joey? That said, Phoebe's sexy French accent almost made up for it.
I was passing by when I heard this man speaking the regional dialect of my French town of Estée Lauder.
And done. See what I mean? Friends sucks. And if you like it, you suck too. Got it? Good. Later, suckers.